food trucks and hand carts. Visit pasco-wa.gov for more information and join the thriving Pasco community. Naturally transformative.
So we're going to need everybody's help because this fire engine, fully loaded, is about 52,000 pounds. So a big effort, a big push will be greatly appreciated. So in the early 19th century, when we had horse-drawn wagons that would respond to fires, when they came back, they would unhitch the horses from the wagons and they would manually push the wagon back into the firehouse. And so it became a push-in effort to get that in. Now, as the fire apparatus became motorized, that tradition continued in order to honor those who came before us and continue the traditions that we respect within the service itself. The ceremony isn't just about a fire truck, it's about all of us, firefighters and the community, coming together to strengthen our bond and ensure our recognition of public safety.
I guess photography for me is really about storytelling, and I feel like my photography really tries to show the story of a space, a community, an environment.
Alfred John Contreras says his interest in photography began as a child and grew into a unique way of observing the world around him.
I would pass by people walking on the street and I saw certain things, patterns that I noticed, and then I would just start photographing just things that I saw interesting. It could be anything like something discarded on the ground that kind of interacted with different light, or how it interacted with the environment.
Contreras captured those observations on film, now being showcased at Pasco City Hall with the exhibit Urban Tableau, Synchronicity in Everyday Life.
An urban tableau is capture a moment and you freeze it forever, and you can make up your own story behind that, and you'll see the different patterns within that picture. And I just really love to be able to showcase that's fraction of a second that can be captured, and that stories can be created from that. It will never be reproduced again the same way because the lighting is going to change, everything's going to change, so it'll never be captured again.
When looking at the photographs on display at City Hall, look for subtle patterns in the scene.
If a person really takes the time to stop and look, you'll see that there's patterns in the chaos of like a everyday street.
Contreras says his photography is a celebration of the beauty in simple things.
And there's also beauty in people just on the street walking and their interactions with each other, an unspoken glance between strangers on the street. And if you capture that, I feel like if it resonates with me and it gives an emotion for myself, it'll probably do the same for somebody else. There is beauty in everything, you just have to really look for it, and that's what I hope people take away from my photography and my exhibit at City Hall.
2025 is your year to start a new business, and the City of Pasco is here to help. We have newly updated commercial kitchen space and vendor windows available at the Pasco Specialty Kitchen downtown. Mobile food vendors, we've made it faster and easier than ever to get permits and connect with customers, thanks to new citywide regulations for food trucks and hand carts. Visit pasco-wa.gov for more information and join the thriving Pasco community. Naturally transformative.
So we're going to need everybody's help because this fire engine, fully loaded, is about 52,000 pounds. So a big effort, a big push will be greatly appreciated. So in the early 19th century, when we had horse-drawn wagons that would respond to fires, when they came back, they would unhitch the horses from the wagons and they would manually push the wagon back into the firehouse. And so it became a push-in effort to get that in. Now, as the fire apparatus became motorized, that tradition continued in order to honor those who came before us and continue the traditions that we respect within the service itself. The ceremony isn't just about a fire truck, it's about all of us, firefighters and the community, coming together to strengthen our bond and ensure our recognition of public safety.
I guess photography for me is really about storytelling, and I feel like my photography really tries to show the story of a space, a community, an environment.
Alfred John Contreras says his interest in photography began as a child and grew into a unique way of observing the world around him.
I would pass by people walking on the street and I saw certain things, patterns that I noticed, and then I would just start photographing just things that I saw interesting. It could be anything like something discarded on the ground that kind of interacted with different light, or how it interacted with the environment.
Contreras captured those observations on film, now being showcased at Pasco City Hall with the exhibit Urban Tableau, Synchronicity in Everyday Life.
An urban tableau is capture a moment and you freeze it forever, and you can make up your own story behind that, and you'll see the different patterns within that picture. And I just really love to be able to showcase that's fraction of a second that can be captured, and that stories can be created from that. It will never be reproduced again the same way because the lighting is going to change, everything's going to change, so it'll never be captured again.
When looking at the photographs on display at City Hall, look for subtle patterns in the scene.
If a person really takes the time to stop and look, you'll see that there's patterns in the chaos of like a everyday street.
Contreras says his photography is a celebration of the beauty in simple things.
And there's also beauty in people just on the street walking and their interactions with each other.
Welcome to the City of Pasco Council regular meeting of Monday, April 7th, 2025. Thank you to those who are joining us both live and on the television. City Council really thanks you for being a part of our government at workshop. I don't know why I've got that one. That's fine. I got it. At regular meetings, the City Council takes action on formal items, holds public hearings, and conducts other business of the city. Agenda packets are available for those following along online at www.pasco-wa.gov/agenda. For those present, there is a table in back and a sign that says agendas. This meeting is being televised on PSC-TV channel 191 on Spectrum Cable in Pasco and Richland, and is streamed on the city's Facebook page, website, YouTube channel, and via Microsoft Teams webinar. This and previous council meeting video is available on the city's website. Lastly, the public may submit their comments or ask questions by contacting the city manager, city clerk, or by using the Ask Pasco app. With that, Ms. Clerk.
Councilmember Barajas.
She is excused.
Thank you. Councilmember Blaisdell.
Present.
Councilmember Grimm.
Here.
Councilmember Harpster.
He is also excused.
Thank you. Councilmember Perales.
Should be joining us via technology. Leo, can you hear us? Give it a quick minute. If we can't get it, we'll circle back to him.
Yes. How about Mayor Pro Tem Milne
I am present.
and Mayor Serrano?
I'm here.
Great.
With that, it looks like give Angela one more minute. Okay. Is he muted or we muted him? Or okay. Mr. Perales, if you can hear us, it sounds like you're muted. And I think you've got that control function. Yeah, apparently he can handle that himself. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance, and after that, Mr. Strong, maybe you can work to unmute Mr. Perales. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll sit tight 1 second for Mr. Perales. Nola. Go ahead, Angela.
Councilmember Perales, your mic is available on your side.
So, I guess Ms. Blaisdell, if he shoots you any updates, let us know. I guess I don't know how long to try to figure this out. For now, let's go ahead and okay, it looks like he signed off. Might be signing back in. With that, we'll move on to item number 4, which is our consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by a roll call vote as one motion as listed in the agenda. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If further discussion is desired by council members, the consent agenda may be removed from the item may be removed from the consent agenda to the regular agenda and considered separately. So with that, we've got a handful of items. Item A is approval of meeting minutes for March 17th, March 22nd, March 24th, and March 31st, 2025. Item B is bills and communications, approving the claims in the total amount of $6,863,149.92. Item C is resolution number 4582, Rivershore Sewer Interceptor upsizing Phase 1 design loan acceptance. Item D is resolution number 4583, professional services agreement with Consor North America Inc. for design services for the Sylvester Street Overpass pedestrian bicycle pedestrian bicycle access project, excuse me. Item E is resolution number 4584, project acceptance for the well capacity upgrades project. Item F is resolution number 4585, agreement with Burnham for tax credit proceeds transfer. Before we make a motion, two things. One, do we have any update on Mr. Perales? It appears not. I see you. Oh, Leo, we got you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
There we go. Thank you much. Good evening.
Good evening. So I just rolled through the consent agenda. Do you have any items you wish to remove from there?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any items they wish to remove? With hearing none, Mr. Milne, can you get us a motion, please?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Milne and a second by Ms. Blaisdell. And as I said, that'll come in a roll call form. So, Ms. Clerk.
Councilmember Blaisdell,
Yes.
Councilmember Grimm,
Yes.
Councilmember Perales,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Milne,
Yes.
and Mayor Serrano.
Yes.
It passes unanimously. Thank you.
Does pass unanimously. Thank you for that. Next item is item 5, proclamations, acknowledgements. They're unlisted. That opens us to number 6, which is our public comments period. The public may address council on any item unless it relates to a later scheduled public hearing. This item is allowed to is provided to allow the opportunity to bring items to city council or to express an opinion on an issue. Its purpose is not to provide a venue for debate or the posing of questions with the expectation of immediate response. Some questions require consideration by council over time and after a deliberative process with input from a number of different sources. Some questions are best directed to staff members who have access to specific information. Citizen comments will be limited to 3 minutes, which I'll follow that, and Ms. Clerk will so kindly help us keep time. Those with lengthy messages are invited to summarize their comments or submit written information for council consideration outside of formal meetings. Lastly, when you step up to the microphone for your comment, please provide your name and your county of residence. With that, we are open for public comment. Yes, sir. I see the mic's bent down, so if you can bend it up, and then there's also like a little speaker thing. There we go. We're red. We're good to go.
My name's Dennis Brown, Franklin County resident. Okay, so I'm burning my 3 minutes. I had to have AI write me up a summary of what I want to say because I'm not that clever. So to begin with, it's curb ramps. I live in a part of town where they put the endless curb, and it's quite annoying. So here's what we have. Curb ramps are essential for providing smooth and safe access to your driveway by addressing several key issues. Protection of car suspension. Without a curb ramp, driving over the abrupt edge of a curb can cause significant impact on the car suspension system. This repeated jarring can lead to premature wear and tear on shock struts and other suspension components, potentially resulting in costly repairs and a less comfortable ride. Curb ramps effectively bridge a gap between the street and the driveway, creating a gradual incline that allows your car's suspension to compress and decompress, blah, blah, blah. Prevention of scraping low-riding vehicles, in particular, are susceptible to scraping their front bumpers, undercarriage, and even the exhaust systems when navigating the sharp angle of a curb. Curb ramps eliminate this risk by providing a gentler slope, making the transition without contact, preserving your vehicle's paintwork and structural integrity. I have a sedan, and I still bump on it if I hit it wrong. Reduce jolting for individuals. The sudden upward and downward motion experienced when driving over a curb can be particularly uncomfortable and even painful for older individuals. The impact can jolt the body, potentially exacerbating existing back or neck injuries problems. Curb ramps significantly reduce the abruptness, allowing for a smoother and more comfortable transition into and out of the driveway. This consideration is crucial for maintaining the comfort and well-being of elderly passengers and drivers. Not just about convenience, they actively protect your vehicle from damage, prevent frustrating scrapes, and enhance the comfort and safety. So on that note, I'd like to see something in the code that allows me to install curb ramps, because currently at this time there aren't any. I found that out a couple of years ago when I tried to put a concrete one in and had to tear it out. Lessons learned. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention, and I know staff's diligently taking notes, and something that we can address in the future. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Here's a couple of examples. I did.
Oh, okay.
It's two sets of shoes.
With that, do we have any further public comments? Go ahead, Ms. Mahoney. Need to make sure the mic's on. Looks like it's off.
Is it on? Is it on?
Yeah.
Mary Mahoney, Pasco resident, 2 Pasco, RCW 42.56. Provide permits for Pasco and Hayden Homes to kill our 8 floodplain American bald eagles and eaglets. Provide a 404 permit for floodplain Road 48 Park, floodplain sewer, and for resolution number 4582. Provide all LID designs for Pearl Street, past and present, and for my property, indicating harassment and retaliation. Provide an LID and or ULID start date and cost for my property. See Forced LID Pasco City Council meeting on 5/23/22 and public comments hands off to Pasco and developers. With the Pasco Aquatic Center, how much is ex-Pasco Mayor Matt Watkins paid at a rate of $10,390 per month plus travel expenses? What's the total cost of the wow factor or wave machine, costing $22 million to $280 million, while Yakima's Aquatic Center, opening in June, costs only $10.8 million total? Pasco's CIP budget is well over $500 million, yet there's no money for a homeless shelter for people and no money for a low-cost spay-neuter clinic for dogs and cats. With animal control, provide a permit for Tri-City Animal Services to operate as an animal research provider. Include Angela Zeiler's animal holding facility plans for WSU. See Zeiler's quote in the Tri-City Herald. See Zegan Zeiler's WSU Buncher files and WSU dog videos extending well over 30 years. See Pasco City Council meeting 4119 with Pasco City Attorney Lee Kerr, authorization of new due process at animal control that results in unlawful seizures. Dogs are killed and or sent to WSU for research. See Bell, Kilo, Jake, and many, many more. See Animal Control botched euthanasias they call popcorning the dogs and cats, or also called a violent, painful way to die. Provide Zegan Zeiler's humane euthanasia certifications as required by the Animal Welfare Act. Provide TCAS insurance and Pasco's cat bonds. Provide results for 48 counts of animal cruelty, theft of $375,000, and the missing rainy day fund at Animal Control. See Chambers, Howard, Hernandez, and Angela Zeiler. For questions, call Pasco's Lee Kerr at 509-735-1542. For a list of animal research providers to WSU, including bogus rescues, call WSU President 509-335-4200. Call Dr. Guy Palmer at WSU and at Paul Allen School of Global Animal Health, 509-432-3385. My comments tonight are for the record and to put Pasco on notice.
Thank you. Do we have any additional public comments? Going once, going twice, third time, all right. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to item number 7, which is reports from committees or officers. Mr. Prowlis, do you have anything to report?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Blaisdell.
Considering we haven't really met for the last 2 weeks, I have quite a bit. So I did attend Visit Tri-Cities meeting. We are looking for Ironman volunteers. I believe it's not till September, but they need many more volunteers this year versus last year to keep the event going. I also attended the Tri-City Regional luncheon and annual meeting, and then a ribbon cutting in downtown Pasco for Lucky Leaf. I believe it's their second location for Pasco. And I am happy to say Pasco High Dance Team took place in state in show and hip hop in third and Palm. So that was, again, a major accomplishment for those kids. So that's all I have.
Thank you. With that, I guess that goes to me. I too attended the Lucky Leaf opening. Had a nice chat with either the owner or the manager, Slim, I believe is his name, and it's good. Well, sorry. It's good to see folks who stay in town or leave town and come back and want to participate in the business community. So I appreciate that. And again, it was a great conversation. I also today attended the Pasco Aviation Celebration. Yesterday marked 99 years of commercial aviation, starting with mail, which went from Pasco to Elko, Nevada, back when there was obviously no GPS, really rudimentary, if any maps. And so these guys were real cowboys of the West, willingly taking what was a 5.5 hour flight, which I'm sure now would probably be an hour and 40 minutes, give or take. And really were that innovation. And my message to the community today was, and especially to our next generation, is as the Port of Pasco looks to expand, as the city is looking at, with our RNG facility, with the PWRF, there's opportunity to be on the cutting edge of innovation here in the Tri-Cities. You can leave, that's great, but hopefully you'll come back with something more, or you can stay and there's opportunity for you. And I think that spirit of innovation that we had 99 years ago as the port and as the Aviation Museum seeks to, share that 100-year flight over the course of the next year, hopefully that spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and innovation, and maybe a little bit of Wild West cowboy resides in, the leadership here, as well as the next generation. And I'm hopeful that our kids can get that message that, sure, go ahead and go off, but come back and bring something, or again, stay here and be on that cutting edge as we look to expand what the city offers. So I'm excited to see what the Aviation Museum is going to do over the next year. The culminating events will be April 6th of 2026, as well as May 15th and 16th. And I look forward to our partnership with them. So with that, I think that's all I have. And I did ask for Mr. Prowell. So moving on to item 8, hearings and council action on ordinances and resolutions relating thereto. I've got a single item here. Item A, public hearing and resolution number 4586, surplus and transfer of city-owned personal property to a government agency. And Chief Crowley, or it's Captain, right? Deputy Chief. I'm sorry, Mort.
That's okay.
I just like Mort. Deputy Chief Mortensen, I apologize.
That works, yeah. Mayor, Council, thank you for allowing me the time tonight to talk about a couple of fleet proposals we have out of the fire department. Before we do that, I do want to thank you again. I haven't had a chance to talk to you too much about your presence and representation at our push-in ceremonies. That was a really big hit, and having your representation there meant a lot. It was a highlight. So appreciate the speeches and the extra effort too. I think we needed every last bit of muscle. So with that, though, we wanted to talk about our transition with some of those pieces of apparatus and some of the analysis we've done. And tonight we have, let me make sure I can do this. We have 2 pieces of apparatus that we want to talk about tonight. And when we were doing our analysis at the beginning of the year and getting ready for the biennium budget proposal, we really were taking a look at what we need in the department versus what we want and where we want to go in the next couple of years. And what we found out is we have a couple of pieces of apparatus that were heading towards the end of their life cycle, and then a couple that are in reserve. And it's nice to have that reserve, but we really do need some funding in the future for some new apparatus. And given the state of our budget and the economy, national economy all the way down, we're trying to be responsible with what we have and plan out the future. And we saw an opportunity to move a couple of pieces of apparatus that's going to allow us that opportunity to take a look at some newer pieces in the future. First one I want to talk about tonight is our we call our spill response boat, and we got this on a Department of Ecology grant in 2020. And the purpose of the boat the council approved was to carry what we call boom on that, and that's to go out and contain any oil spills or any spills out on the river, waterways that need mitigated, and it kind of just confines that and keeps it in place. What we found was, while it is very useful, we haven't really had that opportunity. The numbers haven't been there to really demonstrate that we need this vessel still in our fleet. Now, we did put in the electronics on that, so the grant covered the motors, the power plants, the vessel itself, and then the rest of it we had to take care of. So all the electronics and everything were borne from the City of Pasco budget. And that was about $45,000. So we're taking a look at that, and what it's turned into is more of a backup boat for us, just because those numbers on our responses aren't quite there. So with that, when it comes in, we do have to start budgeting and planning for its replacement. And it's roughly a 10-year life cycle before we start having to take a look at the motors, and then taking a look at the electronics and getting those updated. So while the boat didn't cost us anything, the replacement plan in the future is something that we have to save for. Ongoing maintenance costs, there's not a whole lot to it, but it is maintenance costs that we have to go through. The oil changes, making sure all the pumps and everything are working. So there are costs associated with that, taking a look at what we can eliminate. That's something we can do. I do want to go back. So before we say, hold on a second, we don't have any deployment capabilities now, or we don't have the ability to mitigate a spill response. Our primary vessel can carry the boom that I was talking about earlier. Plus, it's kind of a dualistic purpose. It works really, really well as a rescue. Plus, we have the ability to go out there and handle some of those spills. And that's what we did before 2020 when we got this grant. This was just really a boat that was designed more towards that and not necessarily towards rescue. So our primary vessel right now does both, and we feel comfortable with that. So when we're going through this and saying what could we do with this, we got a hold of the Department of Ecology, and they said there's a couple different options you guys can take a look at. The easiest option for you, just for simplicity, is to transfer it to another agency, either governmental, somebody who can go out and their job is to clean up spills or have that for that capacity. So started asking around, and Chelan County Fire District 7, who's up there, they take care of the fires, the shoreline of Lake Chelan. They expressed a lot of interest, and so they went to their commissioners and said, hey, what would this look like? And what we did was we also, let me see what that's going back to. So they went up there, their commissioners took a look at it. I did want to recover some of the funding on our electronics, and it's probably in the PowerPoint here in a second. But we did make a deal. So looking at the depreciation value on those electronics, what we did was we took some of the newer equipment off of the boat we're talking about right now. We refreshed the electronics on our older one, and so they're getting a boat that does have electronics in it, but in the whole process we were able to upgrade ours, and they're going to give us some money on that. We have a deal to get $20,000 in recovery on the electronics, which is the depreciation value on those. So legal considerations, obviously, I'm sure you're well aware, to be able to transfer equipment with this value on it, or to be able to sell, we do need council authority, and we went through the legal requirements with the RCWs as far as putting it in or advertising it in a local capacity. So we put it in the Tri-City Herald on March 23rd, so that the public was aware that we do have two pieces of apparatus. I'll talk about the ladder truck here in a little bit, but we had two pieces of apparatus that went into the Tri-City Herald. The public hearing is scheduled for tonight as we're here, and public comment period obviously will be afforded as well. Fiscal impact, like I said, there's no value. We're not going to be gaining any money from the vessel. That was something that they said was very problematic, even though we do own it, and the reporting period, the grant period is over. To sell this, given the fact that it was grant dollars, would be pretty problematic, and they said this would have to go up through the Washington State Supreme Court to kind of get a settling on this, and that's nothing that I was really interested in doing. So again, at $20,000 recovery for the electronics that we're going to give to Chelan 7 will be there, so we're not completely giving it away. We are recovering a portion of the cost that we put into it. And then the funds that we are collecting, we are asking that those be put back into our equipment reserve to cover some of the fleet expenses, which I'll talk about briefly coming up. So policy decisions. What we're asking council for is to declare the vessel surplus, and that will allow us to transfer the vessel to Chelan County Fire District 7. Their commissioners have already met, and contingent upon your decision tonight, they've accepted the transfer and the monetary displacement back to our fund. So I'd like to ask you to authorize the city manager to execute and negotiate the transfer after we're done, and allocate the proceeds from the electronic equipment towards the Fire Fleet Fund. I'll move forward. In addition to the vessel, do I need to pause for that, or can I roll both pieces of apparatus together? I can keep going. Okay. Okay. In addition to the transfer of the boat, we are also looking to sell our reserve ladder truck. And just a little bit of history on this. This was purchased about 4 years ago.
Deputy Chief, I think we need to take public comment separately. So with that, I am going to open the public hearing on the first vessel, which is the boat. I'm going to call it that. Do we have any public comments on this? The declaration of surplus of this vehicle? Going once, going twice, third time. With that, we can move on to the second vehicle, or second item of surplus.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The second item that we want to discuss tonight is our reserve ladder truck. In a little bit of history, we purchased this reserve approximately 4.5 years ago, and it has served in a reserve capacity. We do have our primary ladder truck.
Sit tight, I'm getting some side eye here. Were we supposed to conduct the hearing and then take action on each? Okay. So with that, now that the hearing is closed, I will declare the hearing on the first vessel closed with no public comment. I guess, Mr. Milne, can I get a motion on that? Sorry about this.
All right, you can, Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 4586 declaring certain city-owned personal property as surplus, approving the method of disposal, and further authorize the interim city manager to transfer the property to another government agency.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Oh, thank you. Sorry. That was an aye, correct, Mr. Perales?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Since we've all spoken, I'll still say any opposed, say nay. Passes unanimously. Okay. With that, we'll move on to the second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So a picture here of our reserve ladder truck, and again, I'll just go back through that. We've had it for about 4.5 years. It serves as our reserve ladder truck in the event that our primary ladder truck needs maintenance, has a mechanical issue of that nature, so it'll go into its place. The reserve ladder truck is 20 years old, and about that time frame, NFPA is advised.
Deputy Chief, I apologize. So this is listed under resolutions with no public hearing for this one. That's correct? Okay. Hold on. Let me make it formal. So we're going to move on to item number 9, which is ordinances, resolutions not relating to hearings. There's a single item, item A, which is resolution number 4587, surplus sale through consignment of city personal property. This is going to stay with Deputy Chief. I apologize for these fumbles here. But here we are. You can move back into your presentation.
No problem.
Sorry about that, sir.
No problem at all. Thank you. So again, here's our reserve ladder truck, and again, when we were going through our fleet and considering the outlook and the future and what our needs are going to be, we realized that we are going to be needing a new ladder truck within the next 4 years. Our current ladder truck is going to be reaching the end of its life cycle, which for the NFPA is about 20 years. So this vehicle, this ladder truck is 20 years old. The maintenance costs on it are increasing as they naturally do with age. So we have two. What we need to do is try and focus on the purchase and acquisition of a new ladder truck. And right now, talking with our manufacturer, the build time on that is about 3.5 to 4 years. So if we ordered it today, we wouldn't see it until about 2028. So at hopefully the earliest. And they are rising in costs. Our equipment replacement fund is healthy in that reserve right there. We have about $1.6 million in the bank. Now, don't have a heart attack, but the ladder trucks right now, the newer ones are going for about 2.4. So we have a gap there to cover. And what we found is that we believe if we were able to sell our backup ladder truck, and right now the average on what we're seeing would be around $300,000. We still think that we could collect on the ladder truck, even with its age. That would close that gap just a little bit closer, so that when we do need to go through the sales agreement for a new ladder truck and actually begin the build, we're that much closer, and then we can work with the financing options on what that looks like. So again, this is a 20-year-old ladder truck. We're feeling comfortable not having a reserve at this point. Richland and Kennewick run their cities without a reserve, and what we really rely on is that master mutual aid agreement, which helps us in the event that we need a ladder truck to come into our jurisdiction. If the current one has a mechanical failure or needs maintenance or anything like that, we do have that ability to pull from different agencies within the region. So we feel comfortable after an analysis with Chief Crowley and Deputy Chief Harkins. We feel comfortable that we will have the operational capacity from our neighbors if we need it. Our current ladder truck, it is incurring some more maintenance costs, which is going to be normal, but we feel pretty comfortable that the one we have right now is going to carry us through for the next 3 or 4 years until we can get a newer one put in its place. So with that, my ask and proposal tonight is to put this through the sales process. We want to use a company, it's a consignment company, to assist us with this sale. What they'll do is advertise it nationwide and then work through the sales process with us. But that's the request we have for tonight, is the ability to sell our reserve ladder truck as well to close the gap on the purchase of a new one.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Do we have any questions or comments from council? Mr. Prowlis?
Yeah, the only question that I had was that we bought this a few years ago, and now we're trying to sell it to get some money. And so I hope we're buying equipment that we're going to be needing for a longer duration of time. So I guess if I can get some insights on that, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can certainly speak to that, Mr. Prowse. Appreciate the question. The new ladder or new aerial trucks, new fire engines that we just purchased, they're good for that 20-year mark. And that process of planning, we really try and start that 5, 6, 7 years out. But with the proper maintenance, and our shops do a very, very good job. And we have additional contractors in the area that can help us out that specialize in these apparatus. So we feel comfortable that moving forward with these new engines, they're designed to last a long time. We do beat them up, but they do last. The predicted lifespan on these is that 20-year mark. And when we go through, like I said, we're taking a look at technology, what will last, and we sole source with Pierce. And it's the biggest name in the industry, and you know they're workhorses, so we know we can rely on them. But well understood, and I think going forward, the next ladder truck is going to last us quite some time.
Thank you. Mr. Prowlis, that satisfy?
Appreciate it. Thank you for the insight.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from council? Seeing none, Mr. Milne.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve resolution number 4587, declaring city-owned personal property as surplus, approving the method of disposal, and further authorize the interim city manager to sell the property through consignment.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Milne, second by Ms. Blaisdell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, that too passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council.
Thank you. With that, that moves us on to item number 10, which is unfinished business. See none, and I don't see a light from staff, so I'm assuming there is none. Then that moves us on to number 11, which is new business. Again, not seeing any lights from staff, so I assume we're good there. And that moves us on to item number 12, which is miscellaneous discussion. I do see Mr. Zabel's light on.
So good evening, Mayor, Council. Apologies there on 8A and 9A. The difference between those is the boat was a value of over $50,000, and you were transferring it to another agency, so it required the public hearing. The other one is just an outright sale, the engine itself, so that's why the difference. So. And then secondly, a couple of things. I did get a note out earlier today, but all of you may not have received it, but the contractor's been hired to work on downtown cleanup. That work started today, already making an impact downtown, and I know that's something council had expressed concern about in recent weeks, so staff's been working on pulling that together. Thank you to Director Rice. And then secondly, city participated in the State Department of Agricultural Japanese beetle spray program. So all of our city properties, or a number of our city properties, were sprayed with the beetle containment area on late last week. So, in case you get a question from a community member or what have you. So that's all I had.
Thank you. Do we have any, Mr. Prowse, do you have anything?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from council? I'll just simply note that I do know that in a couple weeks we have an Easter egg hunt coming up. I don't have those details right in front of me. I know it's the 19th, I believe, at noon, one of the parks. We'll get more details on that, and I just I'm excited to be part of that. I know my kid's got a baseball game, but I'm hopeful to run over and catch, and celebrate something that's critical in my life, which is the resurrection of my Savior Jesus Christ. And I'm extremely grateful for that opportunity that the city has to celebrate Easter as a community, and so I'm excited for that. So I appreciate the staff putting that together. With that, that moves us on to, are we still intending to do our exec session?
Yes.
Seeing our
Yes.
is our legal counsel joining us electronically?
Electronically, yes.
All right, so I just want to make sure I got the right folks. So we are on to number 13, which is executive session. It's discussion with legal counsel about current or potential litigation under Revised Code of Washington 42.30.110, subsection 1, Roman numeral 1, or I. Listed for 8 minutes. We're going to have the city manager, deputy city manager, assistant city manager?
We're going to have the assistant city manager in the first to represent staff, the first item.
Okay.
And then the second item, it'll be myself and the deputy city manager.
Okay, so.
And the chief.
And the fire chief or
police chief? Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so in the first, we're going to have the city manager, deputy city manager, assistant city manager, police chief? Okay. Just the assistant city manager in the first. Okay, so in the first, we're going to have the assistant city manager. In the second, we're going to have the city manager, deputy city manager, assistant city manager, and police chief in the second. Legal counsel being both. Slated for 8 minutes. We are going to call that 7:47 since we're halfway through this minute. So we'll be back roughly at 7:47.
So hey, had interactions with Monsters Hill and McCain? Oh yeah. They're doing great. Brand new, great. No, they were great. They did great. Everything was excellent. So kudos to their sergeant.
It is 7:47. We are going to extend for 5 more minutes. We'll see you in a few. It is 7:55. We have returned from executive session with no action taken. And with that, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you for joining us.